Ready?
Are you recording?
Those are very small.
Alright.
I'll start it.
Always.
Here?
Yeah,
Okay.
go for it. I'll join us.
Got him on my knees again. Got him begging, please again. I need you. Oh, I need you. Walking down these desert roads, water for my thirsty soul. I need you. Oh, I need you. Your forgiveness is like sweet, sweet honey on my lips. It's like the sound of a symphony to my ears. It's like holy water on my skin. Dead man walking, slave to sin. I wanna know about being born again. I need you. Oh God, I need you. So take me to the riverside. Take me under baptize. I need you. Oh God, I need you. Oh, your forgiveness is like sweet, sweet honey on my lips. It's like the sound of a symphony to my ears. It's like holy water on my skin. Like sweet, sweet honey on my lips. Like the sound of a symphony in my ears. It's like holy water, your forgiveness. It's like sweet, sweet honey on my lips. Like the sound of a symphony in my ears. It's like holy water on my skin. Oops, I messed up. Yeah, it's like holy water on my skin. Oh, it's like holy water. I think we should do it again. I think you should play it, Joel, because I think you could add a lot to it.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us for Rebellion Sunday. All right. My name is Lynn. I am one of the pastors at Hope Community. I work specifically with our middle and high school population. Thank you for logging on today. Hey, do me a favor real quick, though. Share this. All right. If you're enjoying this, if you're a student or a parent, graduate, I don't know who, some random person who just found it, and you think we're interesting, hey, do me a favor. Tell someone about it or share it. Now, we got a lot of good stuff for today. I'm going to start us off with something a little fun. More on that in a second. Then my good friend Evan is going to go ahead. He's going to talk to us about a wee little man. Then after that, we got some music, and we'll finish it out with one of the Scotborgs. I don't know which one of them. Maybe all of them. Who knows? Anyway, all right, let's start off with some fun. Today, Baby pictures. Everybody loves baby pictures, especially when you just start dating someone and they come over to your house and mom takes out that photo album and puts it down and starts going through, and there's that really embarrassing one of like you naked in the bath and they're like, oh, how cute, and you're mortified. All right, let's take a look at some baby pictures. I promise you though, none of these are going to be the naked variety. We get in trouble with YouTube, I think. So let's start off with this one. Okay, 2 girls. If you're a part of Hope Community, the youth group, the Rebellion there, I think you might be able to guess this one pretty easily. 2 sisters. I don't think they've changed all that much. Have you guessed who it is? Grace and Josie Clark. Yeah, that's a pretty easy one. All right. Now, the rest of these are going to be multiple choice. So let's fly through these. Our first one here. This is a boy. Is this Kane, Garrett, or Hudson? Kane, Garrett, or Hudson? Correct answer? That is Garrett Godey. All right, man. Garrett, looking good there, buddy. All right, our second option. Let me give you a hint. This is a senior. This girl, is it Mackenzie, Silver, or Sierra? My hint completely blew that one. That's Silver. Congratulations, class of 2020. This is great. Yeah, I blew that one. Anyway, third one here. This one's fun. Who is this? You might be looking at it and think, oh, I know. That's that little guy who runs around at all the Damani games and at Hope. Nope, that is not Teo. Is it Richie, Ilex, or Liliana? Which Garcia is that? Richie, Ilex, or Liliana? Correct answer? Ilex. Looking good, bud. All right, man. Next one here. Oh, cute little baby. Who is that? Is it Ashley, Brendan, or Bella? Correct answer? That is Bella. Yay, Bella. Okay, now if you want to know where I got these, moms and dads sent them in. So if you're upset that your picture is being shown, blame your mom or dad. Now, the fifth one here. This one's fun. Who is this adorable little guy? Which Scott Borg is this? Is it Chuck, Garrett, Josiah, Ethan, or Judah? That is Josiah! And actually, he sent that in himself. He's literally the only person who was like, yep, I'll send one in. And he's sending in one for himself. Our final one. Okay, I think this one's the easiest one. Is this Emily? Emily? Or Emily? It's Emily, everybody! Oh, wow! I don't think she's changed too much. Thanks. That's awesome. All right, you guys. So, hey, I'm going to turn it over to my good friend. He's our middle school lead here. He grew up in the area. He went to Damani Ranch. Been a part of Hope Community since its foundation. My friend, yours, Evan Delameter.
There's the haters. Yep. Hey Rebellion, it's Evan Delameter. I'm one of the leaders here for Hope's youth group. I'm excited to be here with you today. We're going to be going through Luke chapter 19, verses 1 through 10. So take a moment, grab your Bibles, get settled in. We're going to have a great time today. While you're doing that, I just want to say how blessed I am to be able to be spending this time with you. It's awesome that we live in a day and age where we can get together on the internet when we're not able to get together in person. And I just think it's awesome that we get to spend this time together. I'm feeling particularly blessed in this time of quarantine. I don't know about you guys, but I feel closer to Christ right now. I feel like I have more time to read the Bible and spend time with Him. I think it's awesome that we get to spend so much more time with our families. I know you guys are probably going crazy right now, but you know what? I think we're almost there. We just got to stick together, and we'll get through this together. All right, let's read the Bible together. Sounds like a storybook character. Let's read together. All right, Luke 19, verses 1 through 10. Jesus entered Jericho and made his way through the town. There was a man named Zacchaeus. He was the chief tax collector in the region, and he had become very rich. He tried to get a look at Jesus, but he was too short to see over the crowd. So he ran ahead and climbed a sycamore fig tree beside the road, for Jesus was going to pass that way. When Jesus came by, he looked up at Zacchaeus and called him by name. "Zacchaeus," he said, "quick, come down. I must be a guest at your home today." Zacchaeus quickly climbed down and took Jesus to his house in great excitement and joy. But the people were displeased. "He has gone to be the guest of a notorious sinner," they grumbled. Meanwhile, Zacchaeus stood before the Lord and said, "I will give half my wealth to the poor, Lord, and if I cheated people on their taxes, I will give back to them 4 times as much." Jesus responded, "Salvation has come to this home today, for this man has shown himself to be a true son of Abraham. For the Son of Man came to seek and save those who are lost." So, who is this Zacchaeus guy? So we know a couple of things about him. Few things. We know some things about Zacchaeus. All right, he's short. For one, we know he's short because he had to climb a tree just to see over the crowd. Think about that time you went to Disneyland, if you've been, and you wanted to see the parade. You had to get on your dad or your mom's shoulder so you could see everything. Well, that's Zacchaeus, except he's not a kid. He's a grown man, and he's short. The next thing we know about Zacchaeus is that he's rich. He's the chief tax collector of the region, which means that he has a bunch of tax collector underlings under him that are collecting everybody's taxes. They take a cut, and then he takes an even bigger cut. So he's a short guy, but his bank account is not. So he's also known as a notorious sinner. Chief tax collectors in that day and age, they're not the best people in the world. Everybody knows they're cheating him, so that gives him the stigma that he's a notorious sinner. And that means that he's not very well liked. So earlier when I started talking to you guys, I was telling you how blessed I was during this time. I'm closer to Christ than I ever have been. I feel like I'm getting more time to read my Bible. Well, the truth is, it's not always like that. I know it's not always like that for you as well. A lot of the times, we feel like we take in what we tell ourselves, who we are, and what the world tells us we are, much like Zacchaeus. Everyone told him he was short. He knew he was short. Everyone told him he was a notorious sinner. He did bad things. And a lot of the times we become defined by the things that we tell ourselves and the world tells ourselves. If you guys have ever gone to Sunday school before, you may have heard the Sunday school song that's associated with Zacchaeus. Zacchaeus was a wee little man. I feel like every time I say wee little man, I want to say it in a Scottish accent. Wee little man. Yeah, that was Zacchaeus right there. Zacchaeus was a wee little man, and oftentimes we are wee little people or wee little Christians whenever we're not right with God. Whenever we're defining ourselves by some evil things that we tell ourselves the worst things in the world. We call ourselves fat, lazy, ugly. We tell ourselves that we're fake, and we even tell ourselves that we're unlovable. Zacchaeus must have felt these things too, because we know the things that we know him by are really are things that are bad about him. Being short, being a notorious sinner. Everybody knew this, and everybody called him a notorious sinner. A lot of the times we start to define ourselves by the things that we call ourselves and the world calls ourselves, and we feel like we can't have a relationship with God. We feel like we are just bottom of the barrel people, and that there's no way that God could love us. We're unlovable. There's no way that God could forgive me or want a relationship with me. So before we decide to have a relationship with Christ, we sit there and say, well, you know what? I'm going to improve myself. I'm going to make myself a better person so that Jesus will finally want to have a relationship with me, or I can finally start to have a relationship with Christ. Well, that's the funny thing. Zacchaeus probably thought these same things too. He was short. He's a notorious sinner. You know what? I'm going to climb to a tree, much like we try to make ourselves better persons and get to better places in our lives so that we can see Christ for the first time. But here's the amazing thing that happens. Zacchaeus climbs that tree, and Jesus calls him out by name. He knows his name. He didn't see Zacchaeus as a notorious sinner. He didn't see Zacchaeus for all the faults that he had or that he was short. He knows exactly who Zacchaeus is, and he knows who we are too. He doesn't choose to call us by all the titles that we give ourselves. Fake, fat, ugly, unlovable. He decides to call us by our name. He calls me Evan every time that he refers to me. The great thing about that too is that we tell ourselves we need to get to these places for Jesus to want to have a relationship with us. Well, that's not true. Jesus wanted to have a relationship with Zacchaeus right then and there. He knew him by name, and then he says, I want to come to your house tonight. Not only does he know who Zacchaeus is for who he is, he wants to have a relationship with him right off the bat. Just like Christ wants to have a relationship with us right off the bat. We don't need to improve ourselves. We don't need to make ourselves better people, and we don't need to reach a certain level of acceptability before Jesus is willing to have a relationship with us. He wants to have a relationship with us right where we are. Now, of course, whenever Christ tells us we want to have a relationship, or he wants He wants to have a relationship with us. The haters don't go away. They're still going to sit there and say, "Nah, Evan, a relationship with Christ? No. I know what that guy does. He's a notorious sinner. He'll never have a relationship with Christ." Those voices of others and the voices of our inner selves that tell all the negative things to us, they never go away. They continue to be there. But the thing is, when we decide to have a relationship with Christ, no longer is it about us making ourselves better. Christ begins to make us better people. So what happens is we believe that Christ can make us better. We will have a relationship with him, and then we make decisions that make us better people. We see this in the story of Zacchaeus too. Christ comes to his house. All the haters are sitting there saying, he's going to the house of a notorious sinner. What does Zacchaeus do? He turns around and he decides to give back what he's stolen from other people. And if he has cheated them, he's going to repay them too. So we can say to ourselves all day long that we aren't good enough to have a relationship with Christ, that we're unlovable, we're fat, we're ugly, all of these things. Well, that's the thing. Christ wants to meet us exactly where we are, lying to ourselves so that he can tell us the truth. The last verse of this chapter, or this section, is my favorite. It doesn't say that Christ came to only find perfect people that are ready to have a relationship with him. It doesn't say that Christ only takes the cream of the crop or the best of the best to have a relationship with them. No, it says that Christ came to seek the lost. I've felt lost in my life, and I know that a lot of you have probably felt lost in your lives too. Christ wants to meet us at that point so that he can make us better people. We are incapable of making ourselves perfect, but with Christ's help, we can be perfect. And what's more, all of those lies that we tell ourselves about being fat, ugly, unlovable, all of those evil things and those lies that we tell ourselves, not only does God cut through all of those lies, call you by name, but then he gives you different titles. We look at a few examples in the Bible. Luke 12, 6 through 7. Christ says that you are valuable. John 15, 13 through 14. Christ calls you his friend. 1 Corinthians 6, 11. Christ says you're pure. 1 John 1, 5 through 7. Christ says that you are light. And 1 Peter 2, 9. God says that you are his chosen people. And most of all, Christ says that you are loved. When we choose to have a relationship with Christ, we can start to be made pure of all of these evil thoughts that the world and we tell ourselves. This is especially cool because the name Zacchaeus actually means pure or innocent. Now we know that Zacchaeus wasn't pure and innocent before he met Christ. He cheated people. He was a notorious sinner. But because when he accepted Christ into his life and whenever he had a relationship with Christ, he finally could be made pure and innocent. That's the same for our lives. Look, I'm telling you right here, right now, there's nothing you can do to make yourself perfect on your own. You can try and tell yourself that I'm not good enough. You can tell yourself that Christ doesn't want to have a relationship with me, but those are just more lies of what you're telling yourself. Christ does want to have a relationship with you. Christ does want to have a friendship with sinners, with wee little people, with wee little Christians. And it's only through him that you are able to achieve that perfectness that you are so seeking right now in your lives. So today, if you feel like you're a wee little person, if you feel like you're a wee little Christian, stop telling yourself that you aren't good enough or that you need to make yourself better before you go have a relationship with God. Christ doesn't have any requirements for you. There's no requirements to have a relationship with God. He wants to come to your house today, and he wants to start having a relationship with you today. And if you are curious about how you can have a better relationship with Christ, or if you've never had a relationship with Christ, leave a comment in the live stream below, and we'll get back to you, or reach out to one of our leaders. We'd be more than happy to talk to you about Christ and how you can have a better relationship with him. So that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. More importantly, Christ. There's multiple of them now. More importantly, Christ loves you, and he wants you to know that. Stay safe, Rebellion, and stay happy. We'll see you soon.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Strangers, neighbors, our blood is one.
That's really good, Garrett. That was a good talk. Something to chew on. Anyway, say the things. Or I'll do stuff.
Thank you for watching. Like us on Facebook. Check out YouTube for other little videos there. Man, I've been chewing on this for a while.
My jaw hurts.
My heart hurts.
Love you guys. Oh, good one.
Garrett, your eyes were clipped out of a lot of that because you're too tall. So it's like. It's
I had a lot of high tooth.
That really does hurt.
That's a lot of hygiene.